Good morning, everybody. It's Mark here again. So thanks a million for joining our webinar on Tuesday evening. The feedback was great. Lots of follow-up questions as well, and a couple of private messages as well. So really appreciate the feedback. We had a pretty substantial attendance. So yeah, delighted to get those statistics. So there's a couple of questions that came through that I just thought it might be appropriate just to follow up on. Make a quick little video. So I've got them all here in front of me. I was emailed them yesterday morning. So one comment, it's quite a long one. It looks like it was something that was sent at the very start. So just saying, but looking forward to the webinar. Had used CEREC before in previous practice, maybe some time ago. The scanning itself is just a faff, can't be close, too far away from the tooth, blah blah blah. Anyway, so hopefully, and that comes from a gentleman in Sussex. Hopefully, with the webinars, hopefully I opened your eyes to other aspects of intraoral scanning, and it's not just about scanning purely for the milling workflow. So yeah, as I say, hopefully you got some good information during the webinar. Next question, is there a plan like a 3Shape 5-year membership? Not that I'm aware of. There used to be an option to pre-purchase subscriptions, up to 5 years, I think it was, and you can get it discounted. That was done away with, so that's not an option anymore. It ties into another question which is a little further down the list, but I'm going to answer it now. And the question is, do 3Shapes still charge subscription fees? And the answer to that is no for new systems. So anything bought from June 2021 does not have a mandatory subscription fee. So previously 3Shape, let me correct myself, for Trios scanners. Any Trios scanners bought from June 2021 do not have mandatory subscription fees. So 3Shape had a mandatory subscription fee, and for many in the profession that was okay, that was acceptable, there was value to that, and for many as well it was kind of felt that they'd rather not have mandatory subscription fees. So 3Shape changed their policy. So any of the older scanners still have a subscription fee running for 2 years maximum. It used to be mandatory indefinitely. Now that's up to a maximum of 2 years remaining mandatory. After that, you can get out. So what 3Shape did introduce in June for new systems bought after June 2021 was the option for Trios Care. And what's that? What that is, it's an optional care package. So everything's included in year one. At the end of year one, you have the option to continue it. At the end of year two, you have the option to continue it. End of year three, you have the option to continue it. And within that, there was extended warranties, there was support, there was additional training and new software features that will come through as well. So it was a value proposition. But equally, as a user, you had the option to go for Trios only, which means no subscription fees. So that kind of ties in there. I just felt it would be appropriate to answer the two questions at the same time. Next question, it's more of a comment. I currently use 3Shape scanner for my Invisalign cases with full function. So big thumbs up there. Thank you for that. Next question, what are your thoughts on the Panda 2 scanner, which is new to the market? Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter about the scanner, as it will produce the results, more importantly, about the user. Correct? I'm not going to concur with that. What I'm going to say is an analogy that I tend to use. So I'm communicating here via my iPhone 14, iPhone 12, 11, 8, Samsungs, Nokias, lots of different phones out there. Are we getting the same image quality out of each of them? And the answer is no. Are some people going to prefer using one over the other from a user experience? Yes. The recipients on the other end see the same results? No. So with that in mind, take scanners all being the same. So there's going to be a user element that, from a software and an interface and so on. They'll all produce JPEG pictures, they'll all produce MP4 videos or whatever the format is, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the focus, the contrast, the brightness is all going to be the same. So I don't think we can say that all scanners are the same. So definitely do your research. If it's something you're looking at doing, do your research. Speak with your labs. Okay, there's nothing worse. The labs are the people who are going to be using your data to make stuff. So there's nothing worse for a lab to hate receiving scans from a particular scanner because they know it's going to cause them hassle. So it's like taking, again, I'm just putting a scenario around this. It's kind of like taking an alginate impression on a crown prep, sending it to the lab and say an impression is an impression. It's not the case. So just tread carefully on that. I'm not saying anything bad about the Panda. I just don't know anything about it. I see stuff online, who's supporting it, who's supplying it in Europe, who's supplying it into the UK market, who are you going to call if there's an issue. So that's, which is really the big thing. How often should you change or upgrade to the next one? You know, if your scanner's working, you're getting good results from it, why upgrade? That's my my theory. You know, Trios 3, for example, we've been selling that since 2015. Lots of people still using their 2015 scanner and getting excellent results and being really, really comfortable with it. Again, it's part of the corporate strategy. Does the manufacturer provide software updates? So a Trios 3 now, as an example, well, in fact, any scanner now most likely will be performing much better than it was a number of years ago, because the software has been improved. And so once the corporate strategy is there to make the software always backwards compatible, well then, you know, you shouldn't really be looking at upgrading. I think what we find more so is people buy additional scanners. So rather than taking their old scanner and trading it in against a newer scanner, they're buying a newer scanner as an additional scanner, because just digital has become so much part of their workflow. Another question, the same person though. Panda has a new version, which is Panda 2. How does it compare to the big boys? I don't know. Can't answer that, I'm afraid. What's the price for a Trios 5? So you've got the RRP is around about £21,500 plus VAT. But of course we can discount that. So our kind of bundle package there, including the laptop, which is Dell Precision, and including VAT, you can expect to pay around about £25,000. Thanks for the lecture. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Is the Asiga a different kind of printer than SprintRay? Interesting question. So the technology, the fundamental technology of printing between the two of each is pretty much the same. You do have a much smaller pixel with the Asiga printer. The result of that, you will get a finer detail. The result of that, however, is that the build platform is pretty much the size of the phone that I'm recording this video on, with the Asiga. With the SprintRay, the Pro 95, for example, it's probably, the build platform is probably 3 or 4 times the size of the Asiga, so you can certainly fit a lot more models and work on print speed. I'd say SprintRay is probably a little bit faster, but it's not just about the printer itself, and I think that's an important one to hammer home. It's about the software, it's about the printer, and it's about the post-processing as well. And one of the reasons why we really like SprintRay is because they provide a full end-to-end solution that does its best to eliminate as many bottlenecks out of the process as possible. So what I mean by that is that you can take a scan from your intraoral scanner, bring it through the SprintRay software, you can base that model, you can put a label on it, you can stack them all up and so on, which you can do with any software, of course. You can hit print, super fast printer. When you're finished printing, one of the faffs, just to use a phrase that was used in another question there, one of the faffs about printing is the cleaning process, and SprintRay have a really neat processing unit for cleaning. Take the build platform out of the printer, put it into the cleaning unit, and everything gets cleaned. And their curing unit is really fast as well. So your end-to-end workflow, not only is it simple, it's very fast as well. Asiga, fabulous printer, extremely open in terms of materials that you can use on it, but it would take a certain amount of, Asiga doesn't have a washing solution. The software with Asiga, it's great and it's very functional, but it's not as functional, it's not as easy to use as the SprintRay solution. So it's those kind of differences that you should be looking for if you're looking at a printing solution. So I mentioned, when you say corporate agenda, what do you mean by that? So a scanner is a piece of technology. It comes with software, which is a piece of technology, which sits on a computer, which is a piece of technology, which sits in a network. So it's a very high-tech piece of equipment. And what we often and sadly find is that a lot of companies are out there selling the product and being allowed to sell the product, and that's scanners across the board. Maybe they're implant companies. As an implant company, the corporate agenda there is to sell implants. So if they're introducing a scanner into the workflow or into their product catalog, well, what's the agenda there? Is that to tie you into buying more implants? So we do see it that customers are maybe buying a scanner because they're getting a super great deal, because with the commit to a load of implants, they get a great deal on the scanner. but when it comes to support, it's just not there because the implant company isn't a technology company. So when you're calling saying the software is not working, it's not connecting to my network, computer issues, can you talk to my IT guys? You know, the support isn't there. And we see that just across the board, and just so that's, I suppose that's just something to watch out for. And the last question, do 3Shape charge subscription fees, which we've addressed before. So that's just those are the questions that came in on the back of the webinar. Of course, if you have any questions, please do contact us, and we'd be more than happy to help out. Thanks a million, and have a great day.